Hey there, amazing listeners. If you're enjoying this journey, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? And what time is it for you right now? The year is 1500 BCE. You wake up, not to the gentle coolness of morning, but to the immediate, stifling heat of the Egyptian sun already beating down, an invisible hammer pressing on your bare shoulders. Stepping out, you find yourself at the edge of vast, shimmering fields of barley, a sea of golden stalks stretching almost endlessly under a sky bleached white. The air is thick, dry, and instantly fills your nostrils with the parched, earthy aroma of ripe grain, mingled with the fine, biting dust that rises with every whisper of the wind. You grasp the smooth, worn wooden handle of your scythe, feeling its familiar weight. Around you, other laborers, their backs already glistening with sweat, move with a practiced rhythm. With a deep breath, you swing. You hear it, the satisfying, rhythmic swish of the sharp blade cutting through the brittle stalks. A sound that quickly blends into a collective, ceaseless song across the field. Then, the almost guttural grunt of effort escapes your lips as you lean into the swing, your muscles protesting. Still stiff from yesterday's toil, the sun is relentless, burning the back of your neck, soaking your thin linen tunic within minutes. You feel the constant, scratchy texture of the barley stalks against your exposed arms and legs, a dry, insistent rasp that leaves a faint rash on your skin. With each swing, each precise cut, more dust rises, coating your tongue, settling into the lines around your eyes. Your throat is parched, tasting of dry earth and your own salt. You pause for a fleeting moment, wiping sweat from your brow, your gaze following the receding line of uncut grain, then back to the growing piles of golden harvest. This isn't just work, it's a dance with the sun, a relentless negotiation with the land. Every strained grunt, every bead of sweat, every dusty breath contributes to the growing bounty. This golden barley isn't merely grain, it's the very foundation of life here, promising food, drink, and the wages that keep your family fed. You know that in this tireless cycle of harvest under the unforgiving sun, the effort is profound, but so too is the undeniable, life-sustaining reward. Your hands ache, your body protests, but the golden yield stretching around you whispers. You feel it, the familiar, unforgiving weight of the woven basket digging into your shoulder, the rough fibers of the rope chafing against your skin. It's filled to the brim with golden barley, each individual grain surprisingly heavy in its collective mass. The sun, a tireless eye in the bleached sky, still beats down, relentless and unwavering, burning the back of your neck. The air, thick with fine dust from the already harvested fields, coats your throat, a constant, gritty presence you've grown accustomed to. You join the long line of laborers, each burdened like you, shuffling rhythmically across the uneven, sun-baked earth. Your bare feet kick up small puffs of dust with every step, and you feel the rhythmic crunch of loose stalks underfoot. The journey from field to granary is arduous, a slow, monotonous test of endurance. Your shoulders burn, a deep, persistent ache that radiates down your back, intensifying with each carefully balanced step. Sweat trickles down your temples, blurring your vision, mixing with the dust to form small, stinging rivulets. Finally, the towering granary looms ahead, a massive, conical mud brick structure, its smooth walls almost glowing in the harsh light. It's a monument to foresight, to sustenance. You reach the top of the ramp, your legs trembling, and with a shared, collective grunt of effort from the men around you, you heave the basket over the opening. You hear it, the satisfying whoosh and rush of thousands of dry grains cascading down into the cool, dark depths below, a sound of release and abundance. You tilt the basket, feeling the final, liberating tumble, then empty it completely, a weary sigh escaping your lips. The air inside the granary's opening is different now, filled with the rich, dry, sweet smell of stored bounty, mingling with the pervasive, salty aroma of collective human sweat. It's the smell of life itself, preserved. You turn to make the long trek back to the fields, your basket now light and empty, but the memory of its weight and the promise of its contents drives you onward. You meet the eyes of other laborers, a quick, knowing glance passing between you, a silent understanding of the shared burden, the profound necessity. This isn't merely moving grain. It's a tireless dance with hunger, an annual, arduous ritual ensuring that the sun's bounty, wrested from the earth, will sustain you and your community through the lean months. It is in this relentless, repetitive labor, from field to granary, that the very future of your life is built, one heavy basket at a time. You step from the dry heat of the Egyptian sun into a different kind of warmth. Here, the air itself feels thick, heavy with moisture, clinging to your skin like a second tunic. It's humid, yes, but not stifling. Instead, it's a living, breathing warmth that seems to seep into your bones. Immediately, a distinct aroma washes over you, an earthy scent, rich and complex, of damp soil and something sweet, almost alive. It's the smell of awakening, of life pushing through. You move deeper into the low-ceilinged chamber, your sandals padding softly on the packed earth floor. Before you, laid out in shallow beds, are layers of barley, not dry and golden like in the fields or granary, but swollen and pale. You reach down, your fingers parting the cool, damp kernels. They are tender, slightly yielding, and some already show tiny, white rootlets, almost invisible to the casual eye, pushing out from their ends. This is where the magic begins, where the grain starts to breathe, begins its transformation. Your task is constant vigilance. You run your hand across the surface, feeling for any pockets of excessive warmth, a sign that decay might be setting in. You gently turn the grains with a wooden paddle, spreading them, aerating them, ensuring an even distribution of moisture and temperature. It's a rhythmic, almost meditative process. The soft rustle of the barley, a counterpoint to the quiet breathing of the others working alongside you. You watch for the faint green blush of sprouts, a subtle indication that the barley is malting, developing the sugars essential for brewing. The air around you seems to hum with this slow, internal growth. You are a guardian here, a silent partner in a delicate dance between life and potential rot. Too much water and mold takes hold. Too little and the grain dies, its purpose lost. You are keenly aware of the fine line you walk, the immense power held within these seemingly inert kernels. This isn't just grain, it's a seed, a promise, teetering on the edge of becoming something more. You step into a low, cavernous chamber, and instantly, a dry, rasping sound fills your ears. It's the monotonous, unyielding scrape of heavy quernstones, a sound that vibrates through the very packed earth beneath your feet. A thick, pervasive cloud of fine dust hangs suspended in the air, catching the sparse shafts of light that penetrate through the small, high openings. It's a ghostly haze that immediately coats your tongue, tickles deep in your nostrils, and makes the simple act of drawing a breath feel like swallowing powdered grit. The air carries the distinct, sweet earthy scent of dry, malted barley, now transformed into an almost ethereal powder. You move to your assigned station, where two formidable stones await, a flat, heavy base, and a substantial, round upper stone with a sturdy wooden handle fixed into its side. Your hands, already rough from previous labors, instinctively reach for the worn, smooth grip. You scoop a measure of the dried, malted barley, feeling its brittle, hollow texture in your palm, and pour it into the central aperture of the upper stone. Taking a deep breath, you brace yourself, lean into the handle, and begin to push. The stone resists for a moment. Then, with a deep, grating R chunk, it grinds into motion. The raw, unyielding sound of stone against stone becomes the immediate, overwhelming reality of your world. Your forearms immediately register the burning ache, a searing, persistent throb that ignites with the first rotation and intensifies relentlessly with each subsequent turn. You feel the vibration travel up your arms, into your shoulders, a jarring tremor that settles into the core of your being. With every push, a fresh cloud of fine, pale dust billows up from between the stones, clinging to your eyelashes, settling into the lines of your face, coating your hair. It's a relentless, suffocating embrace you can't escape. Around you, other laborers are locked into the same back-breaking rhythm, their bodies swaying with the effort, their movements a synchronized, almost hypnotic dance of human endurance. You see the strained tension in their neck muscles, the glint of sweat on their brows, their eyes fixed on the task. There are no words, only the shared grunts of exertion, punctuated by the relentless chorus of the quernstones and the occasional muffled cough as someone struggles against the dust below your grinding stone. A steadily growing mound of coarse, pale flour accumulates, a tangible testament to the hours of demanding, monotonous work. Each revolution of the heavy stone feels like an eternity, yet the pile beneath slowly, stubbornly grows. You push, you grind, you endure. This isn't just grain becoming flour. The air here is different. It's not the biting dust of the grinding room, nor the humid green scent of the malting beds. Here, a rich, sweet aroma envelops you immediately, thick and comforting, like warm bread baking. It's an earthy sweetness, mingled with something deeper, almost caramelized, that promises nourishment. You can feel the warmth rising in gentle waves, a pervasive, humid embrace that soothes your skin after the cooler, dust-laden air of the previous chamber. You stand before the mash tun, a large earthenware vessel with thick, rounded walls, its surface still radiating a residual heat. Inside the coarse, pale flour you help to grind, the malted barley awaits with a practiced motion. You begin to scoop the finely milled grain into the tun, watching it tumble down, forming a light, dusty mountain. Then comes the water, heated to just the right temperature over a nearby fire, poured slowly, carefully, steam rising in delicate tendrils, veiling the surface. You grip the heavy wooden paddle, its smooth surface worn by countless hands that have performed this very task for generations. Plunging it into the vessel, you feel the initial resistance as the dry flour meets the hot water. Slowly, deliberately, you begin to stir. The mixture at first feels lumpy, unyielding, but with each powerful, rhythmic stroke, it begins to transform. The thick, viscous texture of the mash develops beneath your hands, a satisfying drag that speaks of substance. You feel the individual particles of ground barley rubbing against the paddle, against each other, dissolving slowly into a rich, golden brown liquid. The steam thickens, swirling around your face, carrying that potent, sweet earthy scent directly to your nostrils. You lean into the effort, your muscles working steadily, a quiet hum filling the space as the grain and water become one. This isn't just hot water and flour. It's a living concoction, an intricate dance beginning in the depths of the tun. You can almost feel the starch within the malted grain transforming into sugars. A silent, ancient alchemy starting its work. There's a quiet, almost reverent anticipation in the air, a sense that something profound is unfolding, laying the groundwork for life itself. This heavy, sweet warmth isn't just about brewing. It's about life's continuous unfolding, where simple elements, you feel the warmth of the thick, sweet mash radiating from the heavy pottery ladle as you scoop it from the tun. It's a familiar weight, a sticky, viscous liquid, rich with the promise of sustenance. Your muscles burn slightly as you lift and tip, pouring the golden brown concoction into the waiting clay pot. This pot is different from the mashing tun. It's porous, unglazed, designed to breathe, to allow the magic of fermentation to unfold. As the liquid sloshes into the pot, you notice a subtle change in the air. A faint tang, sharp yet sweet, like overripe dates, begins to prick at your nostrils. It's the unmistakable, wild breath of yeast, a microscopic, unseen presence that will soon begin its work. You watch as the pot slowly fills, the sweet mash settling, its surface still and reflective for now. But you know that quiet won't last. You lean closer, your ear near the rim of the pot, listening. At first, there's nothing but the settling liquid, a soft slosh that quickly fades. Then, if you hold your breath, you start to hear it. A subtle, almost imperceptible hiss. A tiny, delicate pop, a slow, intermittent gurgle begins to rise from the depths. Quiet whispers of unseen activity. These aren't sounds of your making. They are the whispers of nature, of life consuming and transforming. This is where your direct control ends. You've prepared the grain, mashed it, nurtured it. But now, you must surrender it to the unseen forces at play within the clay pot. You place a loose lid over the opening, not to seal it, but to protect it from dust and insects, still allowing the air to exchange. There's a precarious weight that settles in your gut as you step back. This waiting period is the most nerve-wracking. Will the wild yeasts do their work correctly? Will the brew turn sour, bitter, or spoil into an undrinkable sludge? You glance at the other pots, already silently gurgling, each a small, contained universe of transformation. A shared, unspoken anxiety hangs in the humid air. A good brew means nourishment, energy, and the daily wages of beer. A bad brew, however, means hunger. It means all that backbreaking labor, the scything, the carrying, the grinding, the mashing was for nothing. You can only watch, listen to the pot's quiet whisper, and hope that nature, in its unpredictable wisdom, will grant you success. The sun, a brutal hammer against the nape of your neck all day, finally begins its slow descent. But the heat radiating from the monumental stone blocks you've been hauling is still intense. Your throat is a desert, parched and rough, tasting of the fine, gritty dust that coats everything: your skin, your clothes, the inside of your mouth. Every muscle in your body protests, a dull, pervasive ache that has become as constant as your shadow. You feel the raw, chafed skin on your shoulder from the ropes, the deep tiredness settling in your bones. Then, a ripple goes through the line of weary laborers. A porter, staggering under the weight of a large, unglazed amphora, appears. He moves with a purpose, and soon, smaller, individual clay cups are being filled. The collective murmurs grow, not of complaint, but of a profound, hopeful anticipation. You watch, your eyes fixed on the precious liquid, counting the people in front of you. This isn't just a drink, it's your daily bread, your strength, your payment. When your turn finally comes, you reach out, your hand trembling slightly as you take the rough, cool pottery cup. The liquid inside is a cloudy, pale brown, with tiny flecks suspended within it. It smells earthy, slightly sweet, and unmistakably yeasty, a scent of fermentation that promises not just hydration, but substance. You don't hesitate. You lift the cup, the aroma filling your nostrils, and tip it back. The first gulp is pure, unadulterated relief. It's thick, slightly gritty, not smooth like pure water. But this is exactly what your body craves. It coats your parched throat, a cool, soothing balm as it slides down. You feel the immediate surge of energy, not a sudden jolt, but a slow, comforting warmth spreading through your chest, reaching your aching limbs. The dull throb in your shoulders seems to recede, replaced by a subtle, sweet strength. You can feel the calories, the very essence of the sun-kissed barley and ancient yeast working their magic. You meet the eyes of the man beside you, his cup now empty, a small, shared nod passing between you. In this moment, under the vast Egyptian sky, surrounded by the monumental labor of your days, this shared cup of beer isn't just sustenance. It's a profound communal bond, a silent promise that you will endure, that the work will continue, and that tomorrow, this life-giving brew will be there again to fuel your strength and quiet the endless thirst. It's a testament to the raw, enduring power of simple things to sustain a hard existence. You feel it not just in your throat after a day's toil, but everywhere, in the very air of ancient Egypt. Beer. It's in the bustling marketplace, where you see vendors offering different grades, from the cloudy, thick brew you rely on, to lighter, sweeter variations with hints of date or honey for those with more leisure. You watch a mother share a diluted cup with her child, a commonplace sight, a source of both nourishment and hydration in a world where water can bring illness. This isn't merely a drink, it's a fundamental pillar of daily life, woven into every thread of society. You pass by a temple, and through the open doors, you catch a glimpse of priests, solemn in their ritual robes, pouring libations from an ornate ceramic jug. The rich, yeasty scent mixes with burning incense, a spiritual offering to the gods, a testament to beer's sacred role. Then, in a vibrant courtyard, you observe a celebration, perhaps a wedding or a festival. Here, the beer is different again, likely spiced, perhaps with coriander or ginger, served in finer vessels, sparking laughter and loosening tongues. You see hands, gnarled from labor, soft from scribing, or adorned with rings, all reaching for the same essential liquid, though the quality and vessel might vary wildly. You've tasted the thin, gruff beer of the fields, but you've also had sips of the richer, sweeter brews, thick with nutrients, almost a meal in itself. You feel the deep sense of cultural continuity it represents, connecting you to generations past and to everyone around you, from the humble daily ration that fuels your backbreaking work, keeping hunger at bay and providing essential calories, to the elaborate feasts celebrating triumphs and rituals honoring the divine. Beer is the constant. It's more than just a drink. It's a source of comfort, a medium for celebration, a payment for your labor, and a spiritual offering. It's the constant companion of life, a reliable, ever-present force in a world without modern luxuries, silently reminding you feel it, a subtle vibration underfoot, even before you see it. It's the steady, ancient pulse of the Nile, the lifeblood of this land. You walk towards its banks, the sounds of distant market chatter, and the creak of wooden boats becoming clearer with every step. The air here, near the water, is cooler, carries a fresh, slightly earthy scent, different from the dry, dusty air of the fields, or the sweet, yeasty breath of the brewing chambers. You dip your hand into the river, feeling the cool, silken current glide between your fingers. This is the water that rises each year, generously spilling over its banks, leaving behind the rich, black silt that breathes life into the soil. You remember the fields, the golden barley stretching to the horizon, a direct gift from this very river. Without its annual embrace, those stalks would never grow, never ripen under the relentless sun. The beer you drink, the beer that sustains you and your entire civilization, begins here, in the fertile embrace of this river. As you stand by the bank, you watch as a small felucca glides by, laden with goods destined for the next village, perhaps even carrying amphorae of beer, brewed just like yours. The calls of boatmen echo across the water, mingling with the shouts of vendors on the bustling shore. The sounds, the sights, the smells, they all speak of movement, of trade, of life flowing along the river's path. This isn't just a river, it's a highway, a marketplace, a conveyor of sustenance, ensuring that the fruit of the land, the barley, and its potent transformation into beer, reaches every corner, every stage of the brewing process, from the growth of the grain in the river-fed fields to the water used in the mash, to the transport of the finished product, is intricately tied to the Nile's rhythm. You realize that your daily ration, the very calories and energy that fuel your labor, isn't just a simple drink. It's a liquid testament to the river's unwavering generosity, a physical manifestation of its cycles of flood and recession. You feel the deep-seated reliance on this river, on its eternal flow, knowing that your existence, the very pulse of Egyptian life, beats in harmony with the gentle, life-giving rhythm of every single drop. You lift the clay cup, rough and familiar against your palm. The pale, cloudy liquid inside swirls with a rich, inviting hue. You inhale deeply, and it's all there. The earthy scent of the barley fields, sun-drenched and dry, the subtle, sweet tang of fermentation, the deep, bready aroma of sustenance. It's a smell that speaks of countless hours of labor, from the first cut of the scythe to the quiet gurgle of the clay pot. You take a slow, deliberate sip. The taste is profoundly earthy, a robust, bready flavor that coats your tongue, followed by a slight, pleasing bitterness and a gentle, natural sweetness. It's thick, almost chewy, with a grainy texture that reminds you this is more than just a drink. It's food. You feel it immediately. A comforting warmth spreading through your stomach. A quiet strength settling into your tired limbs. Then comes the subtle buzz, a soft loosening in your shoulders, a gentle easing of the day's relentless aches. It's not a rush, but a slow, mellow embrace that whispers of ancient comfort. As you swallow, you realize that in this single sip, you taste not just barley and water, but the very essence of ancient Egypt. You taste the sweat of laborers under the unrelenting sun, the rhythmic scrape of quern stones, the hopeful vigil over the malting beds. You taste the ingenuity of a people who mastered their environment, harnessing the wild power of yeast to transform simple grain into life-giving sustenance. You feel the echoes of their struggles, their enduring spirit in the face of monumental tasks, their daily reliance on this humble brew to survive, to build, to celebrate. Looking around, even if you are alone, you sense the presence of generations past, all sharing this same experience, connecting across the vast gulf of time through this simple, profound act. This beer, this age-old concoction, is a liquid bridge between their world and yours. It's a powerful reminder that while the pyramids may stand as monuments to their grand achievements, it was often this simple brew that sustained the year is 1300 BCE. You wake up, not to a gentle morning breeze, but to the instant, suffocating embrace of the Egyptian desert. You're standing on blistering sand, already searing through the thin soles of your new sandals, feeling like a brand on the soles of your feet. The scorching, dry air is a physical presence, abrasive against your skin, stealing the moisture from your very lungs with every shallow breath. You can almost taste the fine, powdery dust, a constant, gritty companion in the back of your throat. Before you, silhouetted against the blinding, unyielding master that is the Egyptian sun, stand the hardened drill sergeants. Their rhythmic chants, sharp and unyielding, cut through the hazy air. Hup, ha, faster, they bark, their voices echoing across the vast, empty landscape. You strain to follow their instructions, your muscles, barely more than a boy's, already screaming in protest. Your tunic, thin as it is, clings to your back, soaked with sweat that evaporates almost instantly, leaving behind only the stinging residue of salt. Then comes the sound, a sharp, sudden crack, like thunder in miniature, as a training whip snaps against the air near another recruit. You flinch, your body tensing, the sound a stark reminder of the discipline demanded here. You feel the tremor of fear, a cold knot in your stomach despite the overwhelming heat. Your eyes dart, desperate, searching for any sign of water, but there's only the endless, shimmering expanse of sand and the relentless sun. Your mouth is a desert, your tongue swollen, and you find yourself taking desperate, rasping gasps for breath, for moisture, for anything to quench the insatiable thirst that gnaws at you from within. This is your initiation, a brutal, unforgiving introduction to a life dedicated to protecting the sacred dead. You are a new recruit, a guardian of the royal tombs, and the desert itself is your first, most formidable opponent. Every aching muscle, every desperate gasp, every burning inch of your skin is a lesson, hammering home the profound, unforgiving nature of your oath. Here, under the crushing heat of the unyielding Egyptian sun, you are being forged, stripped bare of weakness, prepared for a duty that will demand everything. A life lived on the knife edge between life. The last sliver of sun dips below the western mountains, and instantly you feel the desert air change. The day's oppressive, baking heat doesn't slowly fade. It's shed, replaced by a profound chill that sinks rapidly into your bones, prickling your skin beneath the rough weave of your patrol tunic. You can almost hear the temperature dropping. Around you, the vast, silent amphitheater of the Valley of the Kings deepens into shadow, transforming from a sun-baked vista into a labyrinth of looming, ancient tombs carved into the rock face. You take your first steps onto the patrol path, your new sandals crunching softly on the loose scree. The profound silence is almost deafening, broken only by the rasp of your own breathing and the distant, haunting hoot of an owl, a sound that seems to carry for miles in the still air. Your senses, sharpened by the brutal training, are already on edge. You strain to hear beyond the natural sounds, listening for anything out of place. The faint, earthy scent of ancient dust and decay, of millennia of buried history, now mingles with the cold, clean air of dusk. It's the smell of death and time, weighty and omnipresent. Your eyes, still adjusting from the fading light, scan the entrances of the royal tombs. Each dark opening is a gaping maw, a silent challenge. You're looking for any unnatural disturbance. A displaced stone, however small, at the mouth of a sealed passage. A fresh footprint in the windswept sand that wasn't there an hour ago. The subtle gleam of a freshly disturbed rock face. Every shadow seems to play tricks on your vision. Every distant scuttle of a desert creature, a beetle, a desert fox, makes your heart thrum a little faster against your ribs. The sprawling necropolis around you feels alive, a silent, powerful entity, its secrets buried deep within the earth. You carry the weight of it, the immense responsibility of guarding the sacred sleep of pharaohs, their treasures, their very afterlife, the constant, insidious threat of desecration, of robbers seeking to plunder what should remain untouched for eternity, is a living presence in the deepening gloom. You continue your slow, deliberate circuit, every muscle tense, every nerve alert. This isn't just a patrol. It's a vigil against the encroaching darkness, a solitary act of defiance. You feel the sun not just on your skin, but deep in your bones, a relentless, searing heat that radiates from the very sand beneath your feet. It's a physical weight, pressing down from a sky bleached white, amplifying the vast, unforgiving emptiness that stretches to the horizon. Your eyes, narrowed against the brutal glare, are fixed on the ground, scanning the endless expanse of fine, shifting particles. The dry air scrapes at your throat, each breath a deliberate effort, and the grit of sand is everywhere between your teeth, scratching in your eyes with every blink, coating your tongue with a dry, bitter film. You're tracking. The signs are almost invisible, a language spoken only by the desert wind and the careful eye. You search for faint impressions, a slightly displaced pebble, the subtle imprint where a sandal heel once pressed. It's an expert's dance, distinguishing the hurried, shallow steps of a man from the light, clawed prints of a desert fox, or the smooth, slithering path of a snake. You notice a rock turned just so, revealing a darker, damp patch beneath, a minute disturbance that whispers of recent passage. Your seasoned leader ahead points, a quick, almost imperceptible gesture, confirming a path that only trained eyes can discern. Every step sends a fresh protest through your calves, your thighs, your aching lower back. The miles accumulate not just in distance, but in raw, physical toll. Your small water skin feels lighter with each passing hour, and the parched thirst gnaws at your insides, a constant, insistent demand that you learn to push aside. For now, the shimmering heat distorts the distant dunes, twisting them into phantom pools of water, making the horizon dance with false promises. Your mind tries to trick you, to offer fleeting mirages of relief, but your focus must remain absolute, locked onto the almost imperceptible whispers left in the sand. This relentless pursuit, this expert reading of the desert's hidden language, feels like a conversation with the very earth. It's an almost spiritual connection, forged by the stark truth of survival and the urgent demand of duty, knowing that the fate of ancient treasures and the very honor of the living, the air already thick with the oppressive heat of the narrow ravine, suddenly explodes. One moment, a deceptive silence; the next, a guttural shout tears through the stillness, amplified by the confining rock walls. You don't think, you react, dropping low as a shadow, too human, lunges from behind a jagged outcrop of rock ahead. The dry earth beneath your feet, a treacherous carpet of loose scree, erupts into a cloud of fine dust, instantly coating your tongue, filling your nostrils with a choking, bitter grit that tastes of stale earth and sudden fear. It's a metallic tang, a primal warning of conflict. Around you, the cramped passage transforms into a swirling vortex of frantic, desperate movement. The dust cloud thickens, a blinding shroud kicked up by desperate feet and thrashing bodies. obscuring faces, making every opponent a fleeting blur. You hear it, the jarring, brutal clang of a primitive axe striking with bone-jarring force against a shield. A sound that echoes savagely, repeatedly, off the ancient canyon walls, vibrating through the ground. Another sound follows, closer. A raw grunt of effort, a desperate gasp for breath, amplified painfully by the confined, echoing space. You parry, the wooden haft of your spear vibrating with the impact against a crude club. The force jolts through your arm, sending a sharp, searing pain up to your shoulder, threatening your grip. Your sandals slip precariously on the shifting scree, forcing you to fight not just your opponent, but for every inch of stable footing, your body twisting and turning in a desperate dance of survival. An unexpected, solid blow catches you glancingly in the ribs. A sudden, breath-stealing pain that robs your focus for a terrifying split second. These aren't trained warriors. They are desperate men, fueled by hunger, by the illicit promise of ancient gold. Their eyes hold a wild, panicked intensity. This isn't a glorious battle. It's a brutal, close-quarters skirmish, raw, visceral, and unforgiving. Your rigorous training, hammered into you under the relentless sun, kicks in now, a primal instinct taking over, guiding your parries, your thrusts. You push forward, determined, your will hardened by the knowledge of what these men seek to desecrate, the very sanctity of the royal tombs. The sacred sleep of the pharaohs rests on your raw, uncompromising will, on every desperate thrust and parry in this dust-choked, echoing canyon. The pervasive taste of dust and fear is you feel the sudden shift in the air, a cool reprieve from the biting desert wind as you duck beneath the rough animal hides that form the entrance to the temporary outpost. Inside, the profound silence of the vast, indifferent desert gives way to a low, comforting hum of human conversation, a murmur of tired voices that feels like a warm embrace. The flickering light of a small, carefully tended fire casts dancing shadows on the crude rock walls, chasing away the oppressive gloom. Immediately, a wave of aromas washes over you, the savory, slightly smoky scent of flatbread baking on hot stones, mingled with the unmistakable, briny smell of dried fish. A meager, but deeply appreciated feast. You shed your heavy desert cloak, feeling the immediate easing of tension in your shoulders, and sink down onto the sand next to a cluster of other guards. The comforting clatter of simple wooden bowls being passed around, the soft crunch of flatbread, the quiet slurping as men rehydrate. These are the sounds of survival, of shared humanity. You reach for your own ration, your fingers a little stiff, feeling the rough texture of the sun-baked bread, the dry, salty flakiness of the fish. It's not a luxurious meal, but it's real, it's earned, and it's shared. A grizzled veteran across from you, his face etched with countless patrols, meets your gaze, a faint smile playing on his lips. He offers a quiet, shared joke, a knowing glance that speaks volumes without a single spoken word. You laugh, a dry, raspy sound that quickly turns into genuine amusement. In this small, flickering circle of firelight, surrounded by men united by a dangerous, isolating duty, you feel the profound bond of camaraderie. There's a quiet understanding that transcends rank or age, a shared history of scorching sun, freezing nights, and the ever-present threat of tomb robbers. Here, amidst the vast, unforgiving desert, these are the moments of raw humanity, where stories are exchanged, burdens lightened, and the simple act of sharing food around a fire creates an oasis, not just of shelter, but you find yourself walking away from the flickering light of the outpost fire, drawn by an unspoken need for a moment alone. The desert night air, now deep and cold, bites at your exposed skin, a stark contrast to the camaraderie you just shared. You stop at the edge of the camp's small perimeter, your gaze fixed on the distant horizon, a blurred line where the inky black sky meets the endless, rolling dunes. The profound silence returns, broken only by the whisper of the wind sifting through grains of sand, a sound that stretches into eternity. Here, with nothing but the vastness of the desert around you, your mind begins to drift, untethered from the immediate, harsh reality of your duty. You close your eyes, and a different world rushes in. You feel the soft, familiar touch of a loved one's hand, the gentle curve of a cheek beneath your fingers. You hear the comforting, chaotic sounds of your village, children's laughter, the distant bleating of goats, the murmur of voices carrying across the rooftops. You can almost smell it, the fresh, fertile scent of the Nile mud after the flood, mingled with the earthy aroma of cooking fires and drying fish. A sharp pang of homesickness, raw and undeniable, twists in your gut, an ache for everything warm, soft, and familiar you've left behind. You open your eyes, and the mirage dissipates, replaced by the stark, unchanging landscape. This chilling vigil over the dead, this relentless protection of pharaohs long departed, is what you chose, what you swore an oath to, but the cost is palpable. You've exchanged the warmth of family, the security of community, for the biting cold of the desert night, and the constant threat of those who would desecrate the sacred. Every day, every lonely patrol, every confrontation is a sacrifice. You stand there, a solitary figure against the immensity, a tightrope walker between unwavering duty and the potent, aching pull of desire for a life you can only remember. The burden is heavy, a silent weight carried in your heart. But in this quiet moment, under the watchful gaze of countless, indifferent stars, you acknowledge it. This life demands a profound surrender. You push past the newly disturbed rubble, the gritty sound underfoot jarring in the profound silence. The air inside the tomb is stagnant, heavy, and thick with the cloying scent of ancient, disturbed dust, mingling with something else, something metallic and acrid. The stench of violation, a cold dread, a profound sense of wrongness, immediately washes over you. clutching at your chest. This isn't just a physical breach, it's a tear in the very fabric of the sacred. Your lamp casts flickering shadows, revealing the horror. The pristine, orderly, eternal dwelling is a scene of brutal ransacking. Your eyes widen, your breath catches in your throat. Sarcophagi, meant to protect the pharaoh's body for eternity, lie splintered, their heavy lids tossed aside like toys. The intricately painted scenes on the walls, once vibrant depictions of the afterlife, are scarred with gouges, frantic claw marks from desperate hands. You move deeper, your feet crunching on scattered debris. Here, the desecration becomes truly visceral. A mummy, once peacefully swathed in linen for its long journey, lies unwrapped, its ancient, fragile form exposed, its bandages torn and discarded, sacred offerings, carefully placed for the pharaoh's use in the afterlife amulets. Bowls, small effigies, are scattered indiscriminately, some shattered, others simply gone. The scene screams of greed, of irreverence, of a complete disregard for the sacred. The spiritual outrage you feel is raw, a hot wave of anger and disbelief. Every ancient Egyptian believes in the afterlife, in the meticulous preparation needed for eternal rest, in the journey of the soul. To steal from the dead isn't just theft. It's a heinous sacrilege, a direct attack on the very spiritual survival of the departed, disrupting their rebirth. It feels like the very gods themselves have been insulted. You stand amidst the wreckage, a guardian too late, and the profound violation burns in your mind. This isn't just a tomb. It's a bridge to eternity, and you feel the chilling weight of its destruction. You step into this tomb, not a grand pharaoh's resting place, but a smaller, simpler cut into the rock, almost intimate. The usual heavy, ancient dust hangs in the air, but here it mixes with a faint, almost melancholy scent of disturbed domesticity, of things once treasured, now violated. Your lamp's beam dances across the walls, revealing no elaborate gold, no towering sarcophagi. Instead, you see rough-hewn shelves, niches carved for daily comforts in the afterlife, now brutally emptied. Your gaze falls upon a broken pottery shard, not a gilded vase, but a piece of a simple bowl, perhaps once used for water or grain. It lies carelessly strewn amidst a pile of rubble. Further in, a small wooden carving, a crudely rendered figure of a household god or a beloved animal, once placed carefully for eternal comfort, now lies splintered, discarded. You feel the distinct weight of this intimate desecration, a violation that hits differently than the ransacked royal tombs. This wasn't about immense wealth. It was about stealing meager hopes, stripping a humble artisan of their personal sanctuary, their simple dreams of an afterlife. You pick up a fragment of a woven mat, its fibers still faintly retaining the scent of dried reeds. A simple comfort meant to last through eternity, now ripped and scattered. The carelessness, the brutality of it, ignites a slow, burning anger in your gut. This isn't just a tomb robbery. It's a profound act of human cruelty, a blatant disregard for a life lived, for the basic human right to rest undisturbed. The initial horror, the disbelief you felt in the pharaoh's violated chambers, hardens here into something far more resolute, a cold, focused fury. You look at the other guards, their faces grim, their eyes reflecting the same quiet outrage. This raw, visual evidence of such personal violation solidifies your purpose. Your duty is no longer just a patrol, a routine guarding of royal treasures. It has transformed, becoming a righteous crusade against those who would defile not only the sacred, but also the profoundly personal. In this small, humble tomb, amidst the shattered remnants of a forgotten artisan's life, you find a renewed strength. It's a silent vow, a deep-seated resolve to stand as an unbreakable barrier between the living and the callous desecrators. Protecting the you duck your head and step through the narrow, newly chiseled opening, leaving the dim light of the desert dusk behind. Instantly, the oppressive darkness swallows you whole, absolute and suffocating. The air that rushes to meet you is thick, stale, and unnervingly cold, carrying the faint, unsettling scent of old linen, dry dust, and the deeper, cloying aroma of ancient decay. It prickles your nostrils, hinting at secrets long undisturbed, now brutally exposed. The heavy claustrophobia immediately presses in. You reach out, your fingers brushing against the rough, cold stone of the tomb wall, feeling the damp, unyielding surface. The passage is narrow, barely wide enough for 2 men abreast, and the ceilings are low, forcing you to stoop. Every shadow seems to writhe, hiding unseen pitfalls, sudden drops, or even the lurking form of an intruder. Your heart begins a slow, heavy thrumming against your ribs, a drumbeat of tension and fear. Ahead, the lead guard moves with deliberate caution, his torch the only source of light. Its flickering flame dances wildly, casting grotesque, shifting forms on the hieroglyph-covered walls, turning familiar images into menacing specters. You fix your gaze on the small, swaying circle of illumination, relying on it entirely to navigate the treacherous, uneven floor. Every crackle of the torch, every drip of ancient moisture from the ceiling, sounds unnaturally loud in the profound silence. You strain your ears, trying to hear beyond your own ragged breathing, listening for the faintest scuff of a foot, the brush of cloth, the telltale whisper of someone else in this suffocating labyrinth. This sacred resting place has become a deadly maze. You know these tombs are sometimes protected by more than just solid rock. Cunningly hidden tripwires, false floors, or even poisonous gas, the chilling anticipation of encountering either a desperate, cornered grave robber or an ancient, unforeseen trap twists your gut into a knot. With each slow, deliberate step, the air thickens with unseen threats, turning what should be a hallowed sanctuary into a perilous hunt. Here, in this suffocating darkness, every sense is heightened, every shadow a potential danger, and survival depends on trusting the flickering light, the acute hearing of your comrade, and the grim knowledge that you may not just pursuing. You finally push through the narrow, resealed opening, scrambling out from the suffocating, ancient darkness of the tomb. The instant rush of the desert night air, crisp and almost biting, hits your face, a welcome shock after hours spent breathing stale, dust-laden air. You take a deep, shuddering breath, tasting the clean, cold emptiness, tinged with the faint, metallic scent of distant rock and dry scrubland. Every single muscle in your body screams in protest, a profound, aching exhaustion that sinks deep into your very bones, making your limbs feel heavy, unresponsive. You run a hand across your face, feeling the gritty texture of sweat mixed with fine sand. A constant, abrasive reminder of the claustrophobic labyrinth you've just navigated. You slump against the cool, rough rock face outside the tomb entrance, allowing yourself a long, deep, almost involuntary sigh of temporary relief. The immediate danger is over, the tomb disturbed, but now secured. Its contents, though violated, at least protected from further immediate desecration, stands silently behind its recovered entrance. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the profound silence of the vast desert night wash over you, broken only by the soft, almost imperceptible whispers of the wind sifting through grains of sand. But beneath this profound weariness, an undeniable truth, cold and resolute, settles within you. It's a silent understanding, shared by every hardened man in your patrol, etched onto their tired faces. You open your eyes, gazing out at the endless expanse of rolling dunes, stretching relentlessly under the cold, indifferent gaze of countless stars. The desert is vast, an ocean of secrets and opportunities for those who would plunder. The temptations it offers to desperate men are boundless, an eternal lure that will never truly diminish. The dead, in their sacred sleep, require an eternal, unwavering vigil, a constant, tireless watch against the ceaseless greed of the living. You stand there, shoulder to shoulder with your comrades, a line of silent, stoic figures against the immensity of the night. There's a quiet dignity in their resilience, an acceptance of this dangerous, endless task that will follow them until their own end. You look towards the east, where the faintest, almost imperceptible blush of dawn already bleeds into the inky black sky. With the rising sun, the cycle begins anew. The patrols will resume. The hunt will continue. This isn't just a job. It's a sacred trust, a relentless, unspoken promise to defend the unseen. You know that peace is fleeting, a fragile illusion, and the ever-present shadow of desecration always lurks. The year is 1250 BCE. You wake up, not in your own familiar bed, but into a world already steeped in the profound stillness of grief, yet punctuated by bursts of raw, primal sound. You hear it first, a keening wail that rises and falls, a desperate lament that claws at the air, tearing through the quiet reverence that usually greets the morning. It's the sound of women, the family, their voices hoarse with sorrow, a visceral expression of loss that settles like a heavy stone in your own chest. Around you, the air is thick, almost cloying, with the sweet, heavy smoke of purification incense. It billows in pale, fragrant clouds, mingling with the dry, earthy scent of the household, trying to mask the inevitable, faint aroma that now clings to everything. This isn't a celebration. It's the immediate aftermath of death, and you are part of the agonizing procession. You help to lift the bier, feeling the unexpected weight of the body beneath the heavy linen shroud. The fabric is rough against your fingers, coarse against your cheek as you lean into the effort. And even through the layers, you sense the cold, unyielding form beneath. The sun is already high, a relentless, searing disk in the cloudless sky, beating down on your back, making the journey feel even more arduous. Dust, fine and powdery, rises with every shuffling step of the mourners, coating your sandals, clinging to your damp skin. The path ahead leads away from the familiar, towards a place shrouded in both reverence and a chilling dread, the embalming house. You glance at the faces around you, parents, siblings, children, their expressions etched with a sorrow so palpable it feels like a physical weight in the suffocating heat. Their eyes are red-rimmed, their movements slow and heavy, a testament to the wrenching pain of separation. You see the silent tears, the trembling lips, the desperate, lingering touches on the heavy shroud. This isn't just a journey, it's a descent into the methodical, sacred process that will prepare the deceased for eternity, a heartbreaking surrender to ancient ritual. And as you walk, feeling the sun, the shroud, and the shared sorrow, you understand that in the face of death, the living cling to ritual, a fragile bridge between. You step into a different world now, one set apart from the bustling sounds of the village and the lamentations of the grieving family. This is the embalming quarter, a place of quiet industry, yet undeniably shrouded in a solemn hush. The air here immediately assaults your senses, a constant, cloying scent of natron, a dry mineral smell, sharp and slightly acrid, inextricably mingled with the heavy, sweet, unmistakable aroma of death itself. It clings to your clothes, your hair, settling deep in your nostrils, a constant reminder of the work done here. You find yourself in a humble dwelling, not grand, but functional. Within this specialized quarter, the walls are unadorned mud brick, the packed earth floor swept clean, yet the pervasive scent seems to have permeated every crack and crevice. A single, flickering oil lamp casts dancing shadows, its feeble light struggling against the encroaching gloom, highlighting the worn, smooth surfaces of various tools laid out with a precise, almost ritualistic order. You see a set of bronze hooks, long and slender, their points glinting dully in the low light. Ceramic bowls, stained and scarred by countless uses, sit ready, This is the world of the embalmer, a figure both essential and, by the very nature of their work, isolated. You watch him move with a quiet, methodical dedication. His hands, though stained and calloused, performing each action with a practiced grace that speaks of long years, of unwavering focus. There's no fanfare, no grand pronouncements, just the quiet, almost reverent attention to the task. He prepares his workspace, his movements economical, precise, reflecting a deep respect for the ritual. Despite the gruesome reality of his daily labor, you notice the lines etched around his eyes, the set of his jaw, a quiet strength that belies the shunned nature of his profession. He is an outcast, yes, seen as unclean by many, yet he holds the sacred duty of ensuring eternal life for the deceased. In this isolated dwelling, amidst the cloying scents and flickering light, you understand the profound paradox of his existence. His work is gruesome, yet it is holy. It is solitary, yet it connects him to the highest pharaoh and the humblest artisan. A silent, dedicated craftsman, you stand over the deceased, the heavy, sweet scent of frankincense and myrrh still clinging to the air, battling with the faint, sharper odor that now emanates from the body laid out before you. The embalmer, his face a mask of concentration, moves with a silent, almost ritualistic grace. His hand, steady and unhesitating, selects a tool from the array on a small, rough table beside him. It's an obsidian knife, wickedly sharp, its dark, volcanic surface gleaming with a cold, almost clinical glint under the flickering oil lamps. It feels like a sliver of ancient night, poised to pierce the pallor of silence. You watch as he positions it, carefully, precisely, just above the hip. The atmosphere in the chamber thickens, the air suddenly taut with unspoken anticipation. There's a fractional pause, a breath held by everyone present. Then, with a swift, decisive motion, he draws the blade. You hear it, a faint, wet hiss, a sound almost too delicate for the act, as the obsidian slices through the skin. It's an immediate, visceral sound that challenges the quiet reverence, a stark intrusion into the solemnity. Beneath your gaze, the pale skin parts, revealing something startling, the vivid, almost shocking crimson of newly exposed tissue, surprisingly warm in the cool, stale air of the chamber. It's a stark, undeniable burst of life's color. Even in death, the embalmer's movements are swift, practiced, almost inhumanly detached. There's no hesitation, no falter in his grip as he deepens the incision, opening the gateway. You perceive the subtle tension in his shoulders, the intense focus in his eyes, but his hands work with an unyielding efficiency, peeling back the layers. This is the beginning, the necessary violation, the precise, profanely intimate opening that allows for the sacred transformation. The air shifts again, carrying a new, richer, coppery tang that mingles with the incense. You feel the profound paradox of this moment, the raw, almost brutal physical reality of the cut, the unexpected warmth, the stark color. Yet, it is all performed with a purpose that transcends the flesh, a meticulous, unwavering dedication to an eternal. You stand witness as the embalmer, his expression unwavering, delves into the opening he's created. The air, already thick with incense, and the faint, coppery scent of the incision, now takes on a new, more profound aroma. You hear it first, a soft, wet squish, a sound intimate and unnerving as his hands, encased in protective linen, gently but firmly begin the delicate, yet utterly grim process of extraction. This is where the fleeting essence of life, the perishable organs, must be respectfully, yet decisively removed. One by one, they are drawn forth, handled with a strange blend of reverence and raw practicality. You watch as they are placed into specially prepared vessels, their moist surfaces glistening under the flickering lamplight. Then, the chamber is filled with another powerful smell, the pungent aroma of palm wine. It's sharp, almost intoxicating, cutting through the other scents. A potent, purifying disinfectant that speaks of cleansing and preservation. The embalmer pours it generously, allowing the strong liquid to flow into the opened cavity, washing away the traces of recent life. He then takes up rough-textured cloths made from coarse linen, their fibers stiff and unyielding. With meticulous care, he begins to clean the body cavities, his movements slow and deliberate, leaving no corner untouched. You feel the intensity of his focus, the quiet dedication to every precise action. The contrast is striking. The grim, messy reality of the task itself, the visceral touch, the pungent smells, the stark sight of the body's inner workings, set against the profound, sacred goal of purity and eternal life. You observe the sweat beading on his brow, the concentration in his eyes. There is no joy in this, no pleasure, only an unyielding commitment to the ritual. The body before you is transforming, shedding its temporary, earthly vulnerabilities. This messy, yet absolutely critical, step is about arresting decay, about creating an enduring vessel for the soul's journey. It's a powerful. You feel the dry, fine particles of natron clinging to your hands and arms, a gritty dust that seems to actively draw all moisture from your skin, leaving it feeling tight and rough. The air in this temporary embalming tent is profoundly arid, hot, and utterly stagnant. A stark contrast to the bustling, humid world beyond its simple canvas walls. It's thick with the sharp, mineral scent of the salt, an almost stinging aroma that mixes subtly with the faint, sweet decay that still lingers, creating a unique, almost sacred perfume of profound preservation. Before you, laid out carefully on a low, wooden platform, is the deceased, now entirely covered, almost buried, beneath vast, undulating quantities of this powerful desiccant. Day after slow day, you find yourself drawn back to this tent, to this solitary, silent vigil. You don't approach with morbid fascination, but with a quiet, practiced observation, a deep understanding of the lengthy process. The days here don't just pass. They stretch into weeks, weeks into months. The relentless sand outside marking the profound passage of time with its almost imperceptible, slow shifting. You run your hand over the surface of the natron, feeling its cool, granular texture like dry riverbed sand. Sometimes, with a sense of methodical reverence, you carefully scoop away a small portion, just enough to glimpse the transformative work unfolding beneath. The change in the body is profound, almost unsettling in its gradual completeness. The once plump, familiar flesh has visibly begun to shrivel, to contract, steadily losing its former softness and pliability. The skin, once a living pallor, now takes on a darker, almost leathery hue, tightening inexorably over the bones, revealing the underlying structure with stark, unflinching clarity. It's a slow, deliberate, yet utterly relentless transformation, not violent or sudden, but a profound desiccation that you can literally perceive. You feel the very essence of moisture being drawn out, wicked away by the hungry, thirsty salt, leaving behind a meticulously preserved husk, a prepared shell for eternity, 70 days. That's the hallowed duration of this long, arid waiting period, a testament to immense patience. 70 days of profound stillness, of quiet, ancient alchemy unfolding under the indifferent sun. You feel the grit of the salt not just on your hands, but in the air, in your breath, an inescapable, pervasive part of this transformative process. It's a stark reminder of the desert itself, its immense, dual power to both preserve and consume. This slow, deliberate desiccation isn't merely a chemical process. It's a profound journey through time, patiently stripping away the ephemeral, the temporary, leaving only the enduring, the meticulously prepared vessel, ready for an eternity forged in salt and sand. The relentless march of time and the unwavering patience it demands is a deep lesson. You feel the delicate, almost papery texture of the preserved organ as the embalmer carefully places it in your linen-gloved hands. It's no longer wet or visceral, but firm, shrunken, and dry from the natron, yet still imbued with the profound significance of what it once was. A faint, earthy scent of ancient spices, mixed with the sharp mineral tang of natron, rises from it, a complex perfume of transformation. You carefully support its weight, conscious of the sacred trust it represents. Around you, the air is thick with the sweet, rich aroma of anointing oils, frankincense, myrrh, and other precious resins, being carefully applied to both the organs and the now desiccated body. It's a fragrant, almost spiritual cleansing, meant to purify and prepare for the eternal journey. You watch as the embalmer meticulously cleanses each organ, a silent ritual performed with unwavering focus, his movements gentle but precise. Then you turn your attention to the vessels themselves, the canopic jars. You reach out, your fingers tracing the cool, smooth surface of the polished stone. Each jar is a masterpiece, intricately carved, its lid depicting one of the four sons of Horus: the falcon-headed Kebe-Senuv, the jackal-headed Dumudef, the human-headed Imseti, and the baboon-headed Hapi. You feel the subtle contours of the sculpted faces, the cool weight of the stone in your hands. These are not merely containers. They are guardians, sacred protectors. With utmost care, you observe as the embalmer places the prepared organ into its designated jar, each one destined to hold a specific, vital part of the deceased. You feel the deep symbolic weight of these vessels, understanding that they are not just storing physical remnants, but vital aspects of the Ka and Ba, essential components of the soul needed for resurrection. The gentle clink as a heavy, carved lid is placed firmly onto its jar resonates with a quiet finality, a seal against decay, a promise of eternal preservation. You watch the rows of filled jars, each a small, silent sentinel. This meticulous, almost loving care for the most vulnerable parts of the body speaks volumes. It's a testament to a belief system so profound, so deeply ingrained, that even in the face of death's physical reality, humanity strives for immortality. Here, in the quiet chamber, with the cool stone against your skin and the scent of eternity in the air, you understand that in safeguard you approach the table where the desiccated body lies, now stripped of its natron covering. The air in the chamber has transformed. Gone is the sharp, acrid sting of the salt. Instead, a luxurious, deeply comforting scent envelops you, rich and complex. A symphony of myrrh and cedarwood, mingled with a faint, sweet hint of honey and other precious resins. It's a perfume of reverence and transformation, warm and inviting, a profound sensory contrast to the dry desiccation that came before. You watch as the embalmer, his hands once again moving with meticulous care, begins the process of rehydration. He dips a sponge into a warming bowl of fragrant oil, its surface shimmering under the lamplight, and gently, almost tenderly, begins to apply it to the hardened, shrunken skin. You can almost feel the dry, stiff flesh sigh in relief as the rich oils seep into its surface, slowly, visibly restoring some of its lost moisture. His fingers, surprisingly gentle, begin to massage the limbs, working the precious liquids into every crevice, every fold. You observe the gradual, almost magical transformation. The once leathery, taut skin slowly regains a measure of pliability, a subtle elasticity. The rough, dull surface begins to soften, to smooth, taking on a polished sheen, like ancient, well-cared-for leather. It's a painstaking process, each limb, each digit, receiving the same patient, focused attention. You see the light catch on the newly moisturized skin, reflecting the flickering lamps, as if a new, albeit eternal, life is being breathed into it. This is more than just an aesthetic treatment. It's a profound act of renewal, preparing the body for its final appearance, a fitting vessel for the soul's eternal journey. You feel the profound, quiet dignity of the embalmer's work, a testament to the belief that even in death, reverence and care are paramount. This application of oils and resins isn't simply about preservation. It's about restoring a semblance of living beauty, a final, tender grace before the next crucial step. The heavy, sweet scent, the careful touch, the visual softening, all combine to create a deeply resonant experience, a quiet testament to the meticulous artistry required to bridge the earthly realm. You find yourself enveloped in an intoxicating cloud of fragrance, a powerful, complex symphony of scents that fills the embalming chamber. It's a blend of frankincense, rich and resinous, mingling with the warm, spicy notes of cinnamon and the sharp, clean aroma of various herbs and fragrant sawdust. This isn't just a pleasant smell. It's the scent of eternity, purposefully crafted to accompany the deceased on their journey, a fragrant offering to the gods. Before you, the body, now rehydrated and softened, lies ready. The embalmer, his expression one of profound concentration, begins the intricate process of packing the body cavities. His hands, still gentle, scoop generous handfuls of the aromatic mixture, a blend of sawdust, linen scraps, and those precious spices, and carefully, meticulously, inserts them into the hollowed spaces. You can almost hear the soft rustle of the dry materials as they are gently pressed into place. You watch as he works, his fingers artfully shaping, carefully restoring the lifelike form that was lost during desiccation. He pushes and smooths, ensuring that the contours of the abdomen and chest regain their natural curve, that the body doesn't appear sunken or hollow. Each action is deliberate, a painter restoring a canvas, a sculptor refining a form. The goal is not merely to fill, but to meticulously reconstruct, to imbue the form with the semblance of living grace. With every handful inserted, the fragrance intensifies, becoming a part of the very air you breathe. It clings to the body, permeating every fiber, every pore. This isn't just about restoring form. It's about imbuing the deceased with a lasting fragrance, a divine aroma befitting their journey to the gods. You feel the profound purpose in this act, to ensure that the individual not only looks divine, but also smells divine, a complete and perfected offering for the afterlife. In this meticulous process of packing and perfuming, you witness the ancient Egyptian belief that every detail matters, that every sensory experience contributes to the spiritual journey. The rich, exotic scents, the careful shaping, the unwavering dedication, all combine to transform the earthly vessel into a sacred, fragrant shell, ready to meet the deities. This isn't simply embalming, it's an act of profound reverence, a meticulous preparation for immortality, ensuring that you feel the enveloping warmth of the embalming chamber, a steady, humid heat that now mingles with the lingering, rich scent of resins and spices. It's a comforting blanket after the long, dry period of desiccation. Before you, the body, softened and fragrant, awaits its final, most intricate transformation. You reach for the linen bandages, stacked in neat, impossibly long rolls, feeling the rough, clean texture of the fabric beneath your fingertips. It's not soft, but sturdy, promising protection and permanence. The embalmer begins, his movements a practiced ballet of precision and patience. He takes the first strip, thin and unassuming, and lays it carefully across a limb. Then, with gentle tension, he begins to wrap, circling, overlapping, smoothing. You join, learning the rhythm, feeling the fabric tauten with each pass. The repetitive motion quickly becomes hypnotic. Wrap, smooth, wrap, smooth. Your hands ache, your fingers grow stiff, but the flow of the linen, the steady transformation of the body beneath your touch, demands unwavering focus. Layer upon painstaking layer, the rough linen builds. You work on an arm, then a leg, then the torso, meticulously encasing every contour. You feel the constant pressure of the fabric, ensuring it's tight enough to secure, yet not so tight as to damage. The scent of linen, dry and clean, now mixes with the rich, sacred perfumes already within the body, creating a unique, almost ethereal aroma that fills your lungs with every breath. Your back stiffens from bending. Your shoulders protest from the constant, deliberate movements. But you push through the physical endurance required. You watch as the human form gradually disappears beneath the hundreds of yards of fabric, transforming into a smooth, featureless cocoon. Each fold, each tuck, is a deliberate act of artistry, a testament to an unyielding dedication. There's a profound mental endurance demanded here, maintaining perfect precision over hours, even days, ensuring no gap, no unevenness. This isn't just wrapping, it's sculpting, building an eternal shell, a sacred vessel. As the final layers are laid, and the form emerges complete, pristine, and perfectly encased, you feel a deep, quiet satisfaction. It's a testament to human hands, human patience, and unwavering belief that, through meticulous effort, the fleeting can be rendered eternal. A perfect bridge between the transient world and the promise of. You feel the final, secure tightness of the linen layers around the form, now perfectly encased, a seamless cocoon. The air in the chamber, still warm, carries the profound, sweet scent of all the resins and spices that have permeated the mummy over the long weeks. Your hands, tired yet steady, guide the last lengths of bandage, smoothing them into place with a practiced, almost tender care. This is the culmination of 70 days of meticulous, sacred work. Now comes the crucial, final touch. The embalmer, his expression solemn, presents a small, intricately carved amulet. You reach out, feeling its cool, smooth stone against your fingertips, perhaps a scarab, or an eye of Horus, each one imbued with protective magic, destined to safeguard the deceased on their perilous journey through the Jewett. With hushed reverence, You watch as he carefully tucks it between the folds of linen. A hidden shield nestled close to the heart, followed by others placed at the wrists, the ankles, across the chest. Quiet murmurs of ancient prayers, barely audible, accompany each placement, invoking the gods to guard this perfected vessel. The mummy now lies before you, a masterpiece of preservation, its form serene and complete. It is no longer the body you saw in grief, nor the shrunken form from the natron bed, but a perfected vessel, a bridge between two worlds. The embalmer steps back, his work done, and you see the profound mixture in his eyes, the deep, quiet satisfaction of a sacred duty fulfilled, yet also the inherent isolation of one who works so closely with the veil between life and death. This is the moment of closure, a solemn farewell. The family, now allowed to approach, does so with a profound mixture of grief and hopeful anticipation. You see their hands hover, longing to touch, yet respecting the newly inviolable form. There are no more raw laments, only quiet tears, a shared understanding of the journey ahead. Soon, the mummy will be placed in its coffin, then its sarcophagus, beginning its final procession to the tomb, its eternal home. You feel the weight of this transition, the profound sadness of earthly separation, blending with the hopeful anticipation of an afterlife made possible by this meticulous, sacred craft. The mummy, once flesh and blood, now stands as a powerful testament to belief, a quiet promise of immortality, carried forth by the enduring ingenuity. The year is 1800 BCE. You wake up, not to the usual dry dust, but to a palpable shift in the air itself. It's thick, humid, clinging to your skin, carrying the unmistakable scent of the rising Nile, a promise, both vital and terrifying. You step outside your small mud brick home, your bare feet sinking into the earth that has already begun its slow transformation. It's no longer the cracked, dry soil of harvest. Now it's a yielding, cool mud, smelling rich and intensely damp. A scent that speaks of water, abundant and encroaching. You scan the horizon, your gaze drawn instinctively towards the great river. Its familiar, silvery line has deepened. A rich, murky brown now, swelling visibly, steadily creeping closer to the edges of the fertile fields. You hear it too, a low, continuous murmur, like a giant clearing its throat, growing louder with each passing day. It's the voice of the Nile, a sound that fills you with both awe and a growing knot of anxiety in your stomach. Your mother moves with an urgent, almost frantic energy inside the house, bundling precious cooking pots, her movements quick, her brow furrowed. Your younger siblings dart about, confused by the disruption, their usual playful shouts replaced by quieter, watchful glances. The fertile lands, only recently green with crops, are slowly, irrevocably succumbing to the encroaching waters. You watch as small rivulets snake across the dirt, swallowing patches of stubbornly green reeds, turning solid ground into shimmering, reflective pools. This is the annual displacement, the Akhet, the time when your home becomes an island, then must be abandoned as the river claims its own. You help your father secure the last of the tools, feeling the heavy wooden handle of the plow one last time before it's hoisted to higher ground. The hot sun still beats down, but its dry heat feels oddly powerless against the unstoppable, humid force of the rising waters. This is the rhythm of your world, a cycle of life and temporary surrender, demanding constant adaptation and a profound respect for the river's immense, benevolent, yet utterly overwhelming power. You feel the inevitable push, the relentless, the sharp, piercing blast of a trumpet cuts through the humid morning air, shattering the village's uneasy quiet. It's a sound that brings a sudden, cold knot to your stomach, a chilling announcement that the time has come. You feel the collective tension ripple through the small gathering of villagers, their faces etched with a familiar mix of resignation and fear. Officials, stern-faced and unyielding, stand before a hastily assembled crowd, their voices ringing out with the decrees of the pharaoh. Then your name. It's spoken plainly, without emotion, but it reverberates through you like a physical blow. You feel your mother's hand clench yours, too tightly, her eyes wide with a silent, desperate plea. You meet your father's gaze, a quick, fleeting exchange of understanding. A life of farming, of tending the rich, black earth, is momentarily suspended. There is no protest, no argument. You are a son of Egypt, and the state demands its due. Your farewells are abrupt, raw. You feel the quick, fierce embrace from your mother, her scent of dried herbs and Nile mud clinging to you for a moment. Your younger sister clings to your leg, her small hands surprisingly strong, her face tear-streaked. You pull away gently, the pain of leaving a sharp, physical ache in your chest. The familiar sounds and smells of your home, the rustle of straw, the warmth of the cooking fire, the distant bleating of goats begin to recede even before you've taken your first step. You join the column of men already forming, a silent, shuffling line stretching into the distance. All farmers like you, their hands calloused, their shoulders heavy with the weight of both tool and expectation. You feel the hard, packed earth beneath your worn sandals, already baking under the ascending sun. The air is thick with the fine dust kicked up by hundreds of feet, mingling with the pervasive scent of sweat and quiet apprehension. There's a low, resigned murmur among the men, punctuated by the occasional sharp command from an overseer, urging them onward. You march, not knowing your precise destination, only that it is away from the familiar rhythms of your flooded village, away from the seasonal work of the fields. You are now a conscript, a temporary cog in the pharaoh's grand machinery, bound for some immense labor project. You feel the profound sense of powerlessness, yet also a strange, shared strength in the collective endurance of the men around you. It's a stark reminder that in this land, Life is not solely your own. It is a gift and a demand from the mighty river and from the even mightier hand of the state. You are but one man walking into an unknown future, fueled by the hope that the Nile will recede, and that one day you will return to your home. You step into the quarry, and the air immediately stings. It's not just hot, it's a dry, brutal heat that sucks the moisture from your skin with every shallow breath. A fine, blinding dust hangs everywhere, catching the brutal glare of the sun, making the very air shimmer and dance. It coats your tunic, settles on your eyelashes, and immediately you taste it. A pervasive, gritty powder that fills your mouth, clinging to your tongue, tasting of dry earth and raw, pulverized stone. You grasp the heavy, unfamiliar hammer, its handle rough against your already calloused palm. Your body, accustomed to the softer rhythm of the plow, protests with every movement. All around you, the air pulses with the rhythmic thud of crude tools against unforgiving rock. Thud, crack, thud. It's a relentless, monotonous symphony of human effort against unyielding matter, echoing off the vast, sun-baked cliff faces. You swing the hammer, feeling its immense weight, directing its force onto the copper chisel, which bites slowly, stubbornly, into the stubborn stone. Your muscles, already aching from the long march and inadequate rest, quickly begin to burn. The strain radiates through your shoulders, down your back, a deep, persistent throb that intensifies with each swing. Sweat pours down your face, mingling with the dust, stinging your eyes, and then evaporating almost instantly, leaving behind a salty, metallic taste in your mouth, a taste of sheer physical exertion. Your throat is a desert, parched and rough, crying out for water that is rationed and always too little. A sudden, sharp crack slices through the air nearby, followed by a grunt and a scattering of pebbles. A piece of rock, dislodged by another laborer, tumbles down the rock face, narrowly missing a man working below. You flinch, your breath catching, the fleeting threat of injury a constant, gnawing presence in your mind. This is not the predictable earth of your farm. Here, danger is inherent in every strike, every shift of the stone. You push, you strike, you endure, watching as, inch by painful inch, the outline of a massive block begins to take. The brutal sun hasn't lessened, but the sound has changed. You've moved from the deafening thud of the quarry to a different kind of symphony. The rhythmic tap-tap-tap of small, precise mallets, the insistent scrape-scrape-scrape of abrasive stones, and the faint, whispering hiss of sand on stone as rough edges are painstakingly smoothed. The air still hangs thick with dust, but it's finer now, almost silken, clinging to your skin, tasting less of raw earth and more of refined, ancient rock, dry and mineral. You feel a new kind of tension, not just in your aching muscles, but in your very mind. You kneel beside a massive block, recently cut and hauled, still bearing the scars of the quarry. Your hands, no longer wielding heavy hammers, now grip smaller, more delicate tools, a bronze chisel, a wooden mallet, a line and plumb bob. Your eyes squint against the glaring light, meticulously scanning the stone's surface, searching for imperfections, for deviations from the precise angles scribed by a master mason. You tap the chisel gently, a small tink, feeling the vibration travel up your arm, guiding your hand to flake away just a sliver, just a whisper of stone. You run your calloused fingers along an edge, feeling for the slightest unevenness, a minute bump that could compromise the entire structure. The pressure for perfection is immense. You watch the master mason beside you, his brow furrowed in concentration, his every movement a testament to years of practiced skill. You see the unspoken tension in his gaze as he motions for you to adjust a line. A subtle tilt of his head, demanding absolute accuracy. A misstep, a chipped corner, a poorly fitted joint. These could mean wasted effort, wasted stone, even a structural failure in the monument that will stand for millennia. Your back aches from bending. Your hands cramp from the ceaseless, meticulous work. You wipe sweat from your brow, feeling the fine grit of stone dust mix with the salt of your effort. You are acutely aware of the weight of this task, contributing to something eternal with your own transient, aching hands. This isn't just stone. It's a piece of a god's dwelling, a monument to endure beyond empires. The quiet dignity of shaping perfection from raw earth under duress is a profound paradox. You feel the slow, steady transformation, not just of the stone, but of yourself, an anonymous artist in the relentless pursuit of timeless beauty. Knowing you push past the last monumental block of the day, your muscles screaming in protest, and stagger towards the sprawling makeshift camp. The relentless sun, now a bleeding orange on the horizon, still radiates oppressive heat. But here, the air is different. It's thick with the rich, savory smoke of communal cooking fires, mingled with the dry, ever-present dust kicked up by countless feet. And beneath it all, the pervasive, almost overwhelming scent of close quarters, of countless tired, sweating bodies, a powerful perfume of human toil. You find your way to your small, shared tent, one of hundreds stretching into the distance, a city of canvas and woven reeds. Inside, the space is cramped, barely enough room to lie down without touching the men beside you. You drop onto the rough mat, feeling the deep, bone-weary fatigue that has become your constant companion, a heavy blanket over every aching muscle. Your stomach growls, a hollow echo in the quiet exhaustion, a gnawing hunger that never quite leaves. Despite the meager rations, tonight, a small clay bowl of lentils and a piece of dry flatbread is passed around. You take your portion, feeling the warmth of the bowl, the rough texture of the bread, savoring every mouthful. You hear the low hum of conversation around you, hushed whispers of home, of distant villages, of the fields that now lie submerged beneath the Nile's floodwaters. A man next to you offers a small, quiet joke, his eyes glinting in the firelight. you force a tired smile, a shared moment of raw humanity amidst the relentless grind. These are men like you, conscripted farmers, separated from their families, united by the harsh reality of forced labor. You feel their quiet desperation, their unspoken longing for home, for the familiar. Under the vast, indifferent sky, far from the comforting sounds and smells of your village, you share not just meager rations, but also whispered hopes, hopes of a swift flood receding, of a successful harvest next season, of returning to the embrace of your loved ones. This camp, a transient city of tents and toil, is a testament to the enduring human spirit. Finding solace, you stand on the muddy bank, the great Nile before you, not as the gentle, life-giving giver of fertile soil you know from your farm, but as a vast, powerful, and utterly indifferent force. Its surface, a swirling, turbulent brown, is crisscrossed with strong currents that tug relentlessly at the makeshift rafts tied to the shore. The air here is heavy with moisture, carrying the earthy, mineral scent of deep river water and the faint, unsettling odor of submerged vegetation. You feel the treacherous footing on the slick, waterlogged earth of the bank, your worn sandals sinking slightly with each cautious step. Ahead, a massive block of hewn stone, painstakingly quarried, rests precariously on a wooden sled. Your task, to help haul it onto a waiting raft, then to propel it across the surging water. You join a line of straining men, grasping the rough ropes, feeling the raw, burning ache in your shoulders as you lean into the immense weight. The creak of timber under the strain, the groans of the men, mingle with the ceaseless, hungry slosh of the river against the bank. Every muscle in your body is tense, braced against the sheer physical effort required, knowing that one wrong move, one loss of footing, could send the entire load, and perhaps you, tumbling into the unforgiving depths. Once the block is loaded, you take your place with the others, gripping a long, heavy oar. The splash of oars against the churning water is rhythmic, a desperate heartbeat against the river's relentless power. You dig the oar deep, feeling the chilling currents tug at the blade, trying to wrench it from your grasp. The thick, murky water feels impossibly strong, an adversary to be battled with every ounce of your dwindling strength. Your hands, already chafed and blistered, burn with the friction. You glance at the other men, their faces grim with concentration, their eyes fixed on the distant shore. There's no time for conversation, only the synchronized grunt of shared effort, the quiet communication of strained muscles. The threat is palpable. A hidden sandbar, a sudden gust of wind, a moment of weakened resolve. Any could mean being swallowed by the river's depths, vanishing into its vast, brown embrace. This isn't just a crossing, it's a constant struggle, a raw confrontation with the untamed power of the Nile. Transforming it, the sun finally dips below the horizon, painting the vast Egyptian sky in hues of deep orange and purple. a fleeting moment of beauty after another brutal day of toil. You feel the cool kiss of the evening air on your sweat-soaked skin, a welcome relief from the day's relentless heat. Around the small, flickering communal fire, the low murmurs of shared stories begin, a gentle hum that rises above the distant sounds of the construction site, the smell of dry desert air mixed with the faint, savory aroma of cooking grains, and a subtle underlying scent of sweat and weariness fills your nostrils. You sit with your back against a rough rock, savoring the meager ration of flatbread and beer, feeling the simple, immediate comfort it offers. A man next to you, his face lined with fatigue, begins to hum softly, a low, melancholic melody. It's a homesick song, a tune you recognize from your own village, speaking of green fields and the gentle flow of the Nile. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the familiar notes wash over you, feeling a pang of longing, yet also a profound, shared connection with the voices around you. Another laborer, noticing your quietness, nudges a small, extra piece of dried fish your way. It's a simple, unspoken act of kindness, a testament to the solidarity that forms between men united by shared hardship. You offer a grateful nod, a silent acknowledgement of the bond that transcends individual suffering. Here, under the vast, indifferent expanse of the night sky, illuminated by countless glittering stars, these small acts of humanity bloom like fragile desert flowers. You hear snippets of conversation, whispered hopes of returning home, of reuniting with loved ones, of the Nile receding to reveal fertile soil once more. You see the quiet understanding in the eyes of your comrades, the shared glances that speak volumes without words, this fleeting comfort of camaraderie, this unexpected intimacy forged in adversity, is what sustains you through the long, grueling weeks away from home. It's a powerful reminder that even amidst the immense demands of the state, the relentless challenges of the river, and the vastness of the desert, the human spirit endures, finding strength not in isolation, but in the profound, unbreakable connections forged in shared struggle. A quiet, you feel it first, a sharp, searing crack that cuts through the drone of the construction site, closer than you'd like. It's the sound of an overseer's whip, not necessarily striking flesh, but snapping through the air as a visceral assertion of authority. Immediately, the low hum of shared stories and familiar chatter from your fellow laborers tightens, quieting to a focused, almost fearful silence. The air, already thick with the dust of rock and sun-baked earth, feels suddenly heavier, charged with a palpable tension. You grip the thick rope, already chafing your hands, attached to the immense stone block you're helping to haul. Your eyes instinctively track the imposing figure of the overseer, his silhouette stark against the blinding sun. His presence is intimidating, a constant, watchful gaze that sweeps over the lines of straining men, missing nothing. You feel the immense, collective weight of the stone in your shoulders, your back, your legs, as your body strains in unison with hundreds of others. A sharp command rings out, not in your familiar dialect, but in a harsher, guttural tongue you've come to recognize. You don't understand the words, but the meaning is unmistakable. Faster, harder, more. You feel the immediate surge of adrenaline, pushing your exhausted muscles to obey. You glance at the men around you. Their faces, like yours, are grim, streaked with sweat and dust, their eyes fixed on the task, rarely meeting the gaze of the overseers. There's a silent, almost desperate efficiency in their movements, a collective striving to simply avoid drawing unwanted attention. You are no longer a farmer, a man with a name and a family. You are a pair of hands, a set of shoulders, an interchangeable cog in a colossal, monumental machine. Your individual identity, your personal aches and desires, are entirely subsumed by the grand vision of the pharaoh, a vision etched in stone that will outlast you by millennia. You feel a profound sense of powerlessness, a chilling understanding that your value here is measured only by your capacity for labor, by your ability to keep pace, to push, to pull, without faltering. The sun beats down, a relentless reminder of the unchanging demands, and the dust tastes bitter in your mouth, a flavor of submission and endless toil. This isn't just work, it's an unwavering sacrifice of self, a constant, unspoken surrender to a force far greater than any single man. And as you strain against the rope, you realize that in this vast, impersonal system, building monuments to eternity, the most precious things are not gold or glory, but the fleeting moments of rest and the quiet. You feel at first, a subtle but unmistakable firmness beneath your worn sandals as you take a step. The earth, which for weeks was a slick, sucking mud, now offers a more solid, resistant base. The great inundation, that vast, brown sea which claimed everything, is finally beginning its slow, deliberate retreat. You pause your work, dropping the heavy basket of stones you were carrying, and take a deep, almost gasping breath. The air, though still warm from the relentless, overseeing sun, carries a new, profound scent. The rich, deep aroma of life-giving silt, moist and fertile, left behind by the receding waters. It's an almost primal smell of promise and renewal, cutting through the persistent, dry dust and the constant underlying scent of sweat from the construction site. You gaze towards what was once the river's vast, turbulent expanse, now visibly shrinking before your eyes. Patches of once submerged land begin their gradual, almost hesitant emergence from the water, dark and gleaming with a fresh, wet sheen. You can almost trace the contours of familiar fields resurfacing, hinting at the black, fertile soil beneath. A silent, powerful promise of home. A quiet hum ripples through the long lines of conscripted laborers around you. No longer the weary grunts of constant effort, but a low, sustained murmur of anticipation. Their faces, etched with months of sun, hardship, and deprivation, now hold a desperate, flickering hope that mirrors your own in their tired eyes. Your muscles still ache with a profound, bone-deep exhaustion from months of endless hauling, chiseling, and endless hours spent straining against the river's power. Your hands are rough, calloused, raw, and your back is a constant throb. But now, this physical weariness is mingled with an exhilarating sense of lightness, a growing, almost unbearable longing for the familiar rhythms of your village, for the touch of your family. The cacophony of distant hammering and shouted commands seems to lessen, replaced by the soft whisper of the wind over newly revealed land, and the subtle, retreating gurgle of the river itself, a gentle, hopeful melody. The promise of retreat isn't just a geographical change in the landscape. It's a deep, internal shift, a profound sense of an ending and a new beginning. You know the journey home will still be arduous, long, and the fields will demand endless work to prepare and plant anew. Yet, as you stand there, feeling the drying earth beneath your feet and smelling the rich bounty of the Nile's generous gift, you understand that even the hardest seasons eventually yield to the persistent, unbreakable cycle of renewal. It's a powerful reminder that every arduous trial, every moment of profound sacrifice, eventually gives way to the enduring, hopeful call of home. A quiet testament to the human spirit's unwavering. Each step is a weary drag, your sandals sinking slightly into the still damp earth. The long march from the distant construction site has etched itself into every fiber of your being. Your legs burn with a deep, persistent ache. Your shoulders protest with every swing of your empty tool bag. And your hands, raw and calloused from weeks of heavy labor, feel strangely stiff. But there's a new scent in the air, overpowering the memory of quarry dust and camp smoke. The rich, fertile aroma of the Nile's fresh silt, damp and vital, mingling with the familiar, sweet scent of newly budding reeds. It's the smell of home transformed. As you crest the final rise, your village unfolds before you, but it's a landscape subtly altered. The river, now a gentle, shimmering ribbon in the afternoon sun, has receded, leaving behind a vast, dark expanse of newly revealed, fertile earth. The familiar paths are gone, smoothed over by the flood's embrace, replaced by glistening, dark fields that promise future bounty. Your house, a small mud brick shape among others, looks smaller, somehow more precious, nestled against the newly shaped ground. A profound, desperate hope surges through you, chasing away the lingering exhaustion, compelling your tired legs forward. Then, figures emerge from the doorway of your home. A woman, her form familiar, her headscarf a splash of color against the drab wall. Your mother. You break into a stumbling run, the remaining distance dissolving in a blur of emotion. Her arms wrap around you, fierce and tight, her small body trembling. You feel the rough cloth of her dress, the familiar scent of her skin, a balm to your raw soul. You see the deep lines of worry etched around her eyes, now shining with tears, and you feel the immense, bittersweet relief of being home, of being truly seen again. Your children, taller, older, cling to your legs, their small hands surprisingly strong, their faces a mixture of shyness and overwhelming joy. You sit inside your small, familiar home, the walls somehow smaller, the air thick with relief and unspoken emotions. Your body still hums with lingering physical pains, a persistent throb in your lower back, the phantom ache in your forearms, the memory of sun and stone. But deeper than that, you feel the profound emotional scars of the experience. A quiet, internal shift, the crucible of the flood, the relentless demands of the pharaoh's toil, the vastness of the river, and the desert. These have etched themselves onto your very being. The waters have receded, the village stands, but the man who left is forever altered. You are home, yes, but you carry the silent weight of what you've seen, what you've endured. You are a farmer still, but also something more, shaped by the raw power of